Good morning, students. Today in this class, let us study about class 8 science, coal and petroleum. The objectives of today's class is, at the end of the chapter, students will be able to develop awareness about the use of natural resources by man. They are able to differentiate between exhaustible and inexhaustible natural resources. They are able to explain formation of coal and petroleum in nature. They are able to know and understand the terms like carbonization, fractions, destructive distillation. They will be able to understand the importance of conservation of fossil fuels. They will be able to explain about refining of petroleum. They will know about constituents of petroleum oil and its uses. They will develop responsibilities towards the conservation of fossil fuels. They will develop awareness about the judicious use of limited source of energy. First of all, let us think about our daily life. What are the things that we use in our daily life? From the time that we get up from the bed till we sleep at night, we make use of so many things. These things may be readily available in the nature or they may be made by man. We can classify these things broadly into natural resources and man-made things. Now coming to natural resources. Natural resources are of two types: inexhaustible natural resources and exhaustible natural resources. For example, we make use of sunlight, we get air, we get rain from the nature, we make use of minerals, we make use of petrol, coal, diesel. All these things, all these natural things fall into two categories. Some are inexhaustible. Upon using, it will not get exhausted from the nature, whereas some get exhausted. For example, petrol. The petrol deposits getting depleted from the nature year by year. That is called exhaustible type of natural resources. Here you can see the images of inexhaustible natural resources. These resources are present in unlimited quantity in nature and are not likely to be exhausted by human activities. The sunlight, it never gets exhaustible. It has got lot of source, that is sun. The wind energy, wind waves are created and replenished in the nature. Coming to exhaustible natural resources, the amount of these resources are limited and they can be exhausted by human activities. For example, a dark stone like structure, what you can see here, that is coal, the petroleum crude oil, the fuel that we use for cooking, that is LPG. These are all resources which upon continuous use get exhausted from the nature. Now let us do an interesting activity. Here I have a box full of toffees. Let us consider this as natural resource deposit in one place. We have this much of natural resources with us. As the years go on, the population increases. For that, we can draw like this: first generation, let us consider in first generation the quantity of user is 1. Next, the second generation. The number of users are 2. In the third generation, the number get doubled, that is 4. So, generation of generation, population get increased due to population explosion. Now, let us understand what will happen with the natural resources. For example, this much of deposit of natural resources we have. So, in the first generation, the user is 1, that is, now I am one of the user. I will take this much, I will consume this many quantity of natural resources. So, you can compare this much of resources I have, that much of freedom to consume. For the next generation, the resources is limited. We can consider the next generation, the users number as 2. So, I will take 2 times from this balance. So, 1, 2. The resources is very much limited, and also among the 2 people, they got very limited quantity of resources. These 2 people, and I will show you the first generation consumers. When you compare, they got so many resources to use. Coming to third generation. Third generation, the number of consumers are 4. The quantity of natural resources is very much limited. 4 people have to share these. How many they can get? 1, 2, 3, 4. Each one could get only 2, and the balance is very, very little. There is 4th generation nothing to consume. The natural resource got exhausted. Also, when you compare, the first generation got this much of quantity of natural resource to consume. The second generation got little bit lesser than the first generation, second generation, whereas the third generation only 2 toffees, 2 each. So, with this you can have the idea that generation of generation, the natural resources get depleted, and one day there will be complete exhaustible. Natural resources get exhausted. That is why we have to be very much careful. These are the exhaustible natural resources. So, students, now you got clear idea about exhaustible and non-exhaustible or inexhaustible natural resources. Now, in this class, let us study about some of the exhaustible natural resources such as coal and petroleum. Let us study about coal and petroleum. Coal and petroleum, these are examples for the exhaustible natural resources. First, let us study about coal. Hope you have seen the coal. Here I have with me a sample of coal. It is a hard stone like material, black in color. It contains carbon. So, I hope all of you can see the material, coal. Let us study how this coal is formed. First of all, coal is an exhaustible natural resource. It is formed from the dead remains of the plants, so it is called fossil fuels. Do you know, students, what is the meaning of fossil? Anything which is buried under the soil is called fossil. So this coal, it is formed by the burying of vegetation, and that plant vegetation, it slowly get hardened and formed into black stone like structure that is called coal. Now let us see the process of formation of coal. Story of coal. About 300 million years ago, the earth had dense forest and low-lying wet areas. Due to the natural process like flooding, these forests get buried under the soil. That low-lying area, because of the flooding and deposition of soil, get buried, and all the vegetation went inside. Year after year, the soil layer went on depositing, and because of the high pressure and temperature, that plant vegetation slowly converted into hard stone-like material called coal. That is also called carbonification. So coal, it is digged out from the soil surface. It is also called coal mining, and it is used for various purposes, such as, running a steam engine. It is used as a fuel for factories. It is also used at home for burning, etc. Now let us study about the various products of the coal. So coal is processed in the industry to get some useful products such as coke, coal tar, coal gas. Coke is a hard substance, it is a solid substance, coal tar is a liquid substance, and coal gas, it is in the gaseous form. First of all, coke. It is a tough, porous and black substance. It is almost pure form of carbon. It is used in the manufacture of steel and in the extraction of many metals. What it does, it will take away the oxygen from the iron ore and purify it, and we will get the pure metal. Coming to coal tar. Coal tar is a black, thick liquid with an unpleasant smell. It is also used for various purposes such as manufacturing synthetic drugs, synthetic dyes, drugs, explosives, perfumes, plastics, photographic material, etc. Coming to coal gas. Coal gas is obtained during the processing of coal to get coke, whatever the gas formed in that. It is used as fuel in many industries. Earlier, in the year 1810, 1820, it was used in London and New York for lighting the street lamps. Coming to petroleum. Petroleum is a crude oil which is found deposited under the soil layers. Usually we will see this under the seabeds. The formation of petroleum, it is by the decay of the sea organisms. These sea organisms, after the death, the dead bodies settled at the bottom of the sea, and got covered with the layers of sand and clay over millions of years in the absence of oxygen and under high temperature and high pressure, it is transformed into a dark fluid called petroleum crude oil. It is mined and taken and purified. That purification process, we call it as refining of petroleum. After refining, we get so many products, such as, for running a vehicle, we use petrol. So, here I have a sample of petrol. So, it is visible. Also, I have some vehicle will make use of diesel. This diesel actually nowadays they are refining it, that is why you get pure some transparent color. Otherwise, diesel has a dense color. Then whatever the lamps that earlier we are used in our childhood, during whenever there is no power supply, we use this kerosene lamp. Nowadays they are adding some color to the kerosene, that is why it is blue in color. To stop that black marketing, they are adding the color, otherwise it is not blue in color, it is transparent. Kerosene also one of the product after refining the petroleum. And the bitumen tar, dark thick liquid used for surfacing the road, it is also one of the product obtained after petroleum refining. The grease that we use for lubrication in vehicles, the paraffin wax, naphthalene, lubricating oil, the camphor that we use for puja purpose, all these are the products obtained during the petroleum refining. So, petroleum is a dark oily liquid, it has unpleasant odor, it is a mixture of various constituents such as petrol, diesel, lubricating oil, paraffin wax, etc. The process that we call as refining of petroleum. It is a process of separating the various constituents of petroleum. It is known as petroleum refining. You can see how the petroleum refinery looks as in this picture. Coming to refining of petroleum, we categorize various products of petroleum into three categories. Light distillates, which contains LPG, gasoline, naphthalene, that all you have seen now, just now. Second category is middle distillates such as kerosene, diesel. Then coming to heavy distillates and residuum, that is heavy fuel oil, lubricating oils, wax, asphalt. So, like this, based on the density, it is categorized into three categories. Coming to various constituents of petroleum and their uses. Here is the table. Petrol we may use in motor fuel, aviation, for aeroplanes. It is also used for as a solvent for dry cleaning. Diesel is used for motor. Kerosene fuel for stoves, lamps and for jet airways. Coming to lubricating oil for lubrication in the machinery. Paraffin wax, we use it for ointments, candles, also as a Vaseline. Bitumen, it is used for bitumen black painting, also it is used for roads, surfacing of the roads. So, children, we have to be very much concerned about this, that coal and petroleum resources are very much limited. The known reserves of the coal and petroleum last only for a few hundred years. After generation of generation, there is no guarantee that we will get this coal or petroleum. Moreover, the burning of these fossil fuels is a major cause of air pollution. Because of the increasing pollution, human beings are affected with various diseases. Children, now you may be having a surprising experience. The pollution has gone down during this COVID-19 period. Do you know why? Vehicle movement stopped. Factories, various industries stopped, and burning of fuels has decreased remarkably. That's why we are finding the pollution has reduced more than 50%. It is therefore necessary that we use these fuels when there is absolute necessary. Coal and petroleum resources are limited. In India, PCRA, Petroleum Conservation Research Association, advises people how to save petrol or diesel. Their tips are: first one, drive at a constant speed. Don't go in overspeed or not very slow. These two extremes may consume lot of petroleum fuel. Switch off the engine at traffic lights. Whenever there is no necessity of vehicle in the running mode, you have to switch off the engine. Ensure the correct type air pressure. This will also increase if there is a correct pressure, it will increase the fuel efficiency. Ensure regular maintenance of the vehicle. Vehicle should be maintained properly, otherwise it may consume more and more fuel. Here is a picture. Whenever during traffic signals, you can put off the engine and again you can resume after once the green signal is there. This picture shows you the pollution due to increase in vehicle and increase in traffic. So, at last, I thank you for watching this class. Thank you, one and all.